So I'm getting online to ask my little history buffs, my makeup historians out there to help me identify this object, or to at least confirm my hypothesis as to what this is. This was listed on eBay. I'll show you guys. This was listed on eBay as an eyelash curler. Now, the woman I bought it from got it from her, I guess, like great aunt or aunt, who lived in New York, died in her 80s, in the 90s. So she was in her 80s in the 90s and passed away. And she had held on to this for a really long time. And I don't know why she decided to list it. I mean, instead of throwing it away, I'm really glad she didn't. She assumed that it was important, and I think it is. I think that this might actually be one of the first eyelash prototypes that exist, and I don't know if there are any other out there, but I couldn't find any online. From the little bit that I know about the eyelash curler is that it was modeled and designed after a scissor. This to me looks a lot like a scissor. So I was like, yeah, I believe this is an eyelash curler. I also believe that it's maybe from the 1920s or 1930s. So I started to dig a little deeper, and I'm gonna try to pull up some pictures here. Now, the way it was listed, it was like this, and you can see some pictures like here. It's got a little stamp on the side that says patent pending. So we know that this is a prototype. We know that for sure. And it looks a lot like the Twizzler. So I'm going to show you guys again. It looks a lot like the Twizzler from Kurlash, which was a later patent after the eyelash curler. And the design is very similar. So that was my first clue that maybe this may have been a Kurlash curler. But this is what the original eyelash curler looks like. This is the first patented eyelash curler that I found. I have the patent here somewhere. I'm going to try to look it up while I'm talking. And oops, nope, this is the Twizzler patent. Here it is. So this was the first patent for the eyelash curler, a precursor to the Twizzler, which is this. Now, I looked up the guy who has the patent for the original eyelash curler and found out that he was an eyeglass maker. Now, that I know sounds irrelevant, but I'm going to show you why it is. So what he made was like the mounts for eyeglasses. When I first saw this tool, I thought, you know, the little yellow tab here, like it looks like it was made of rubber, but it seems a little, it doesn't feel like rubber, it feels like plastic. And so I started to look into what that could possibly be, found out that eyeglasses were usually also wrapped in cellulose, which is like a hard plastic, which was first starting to be used in the 1920s. So I thought it's totally possible that the guy who invented these eyeglasses also invented this, or tried to invent this. You know, it wasn't obviously successful going to market, but that he was using the same tools that he had available from his earlier prototypes and inventions to then create this eyelash curler. So my, I guess, overall hypothesis is that this is a prototype from Kurlash from the 1920s. Considering the fact that it belonged to somebody that lived about 230 miles away from the original Kurlash factory, and people do move around in life, so I thought, like maybe she didn't move that far. I don't know if she worked at the factory. I have here her email because I had asked her a few questions as to where, like where she got it, what she knows about it, all that kind of stuff. Let me see if, it's not really, can't really read it, but basically she says, my aunt was a secretary. This sheath looks like plastic, it's not expensive. It looks like something that could be sold at a 5 and 10, which is interesting because in an article from Mary Claire, which I don't know if you guys can read that here, it says in the 1931 patent by William McDonald, who called it Kurlash, but he didn't actually own Kurlash, so this is kind of wrong to begin with. It was modeled after scissors, and it also says that it was inexpensive, and that at the very bottom here it says it could be a 5 and 10 cent package sold in drugstores. So basically a 5 and 10. So all of it seems to fit, and I've never seen anything like this. I've I've looked at tons of different patents on the internet. I've looked at tons of different kinds of eyelashes, or sorry, eyelash curlers. I actually had one here that I thought was really interesting looking. This is the other model of eyelash curler that I've come across. Now, clearly other kinds exist. I have this one, which is like a little Japanese style eyelash curler. It's really tiny, so you can get all around your eyelashes. Very, very different than this scissor model and very different than the eyelash curlers that we're used to. So I don't know, I just thought it was really interesting. The very last thing I'm going to mention is the other inscription on the side of the curling tool, which can't really read. It's really rubbed off with the exception of one letter, which looks like an L, and it looks very much like this kind of script. So I'm going to show you guys on the Twizzlers, they had kind of written the name of the company, and you can also see on the Kurlash Curler, they had also kind of written the names of the company, where it comes from, all that stuff. And on this particular tool, I'm going to see if I can find, oh, I don't know if I don't know if I have the picture. Here it is. So on that bottom, I guess it's like the bottom left, you can see that very faded inscription on the side here. And it looks like it may say A and then L, which I don't know if that means it really is an A. Maybe it's an R, curl lash. I don't know. I can't read it. But if anybody has any information on this tool or another hypothesis as to what it could be or what era it could be from, please let me know, because I am dying to identify it. I just think it's so cool. And even if my hypothesis is wrong, I'm very proud of myself for having done all that research. So I hope you guys enjoyed this maybe history lesson. Like, I don't even know if it's right, but I think it's right. So very proud of this little thing, and I'd be very happy to talk to anybody about it who has maybe more information. All right, bye.